welcome back. This is Candia with For the Love of Paper and Ink. Today is day 6 of Junk Journal January 2024. I am a day behind, but I'm going to do 2 days today on Sunday the 7th. So day 6 is memories, and I want to do a theme of tea because my mom, sisters, and I love to go to high tea. And it's been a long time since we've done that. So I have good memories of when we have done that in the past. And so that's what I want to base my spread on today. And I'm just doing a half-page spread with this tissue paper that I actually got from my mom with a bunch of teacups and some little die cuts that have stuff to do with tea time and high tea. So what I'm going to do is pick out what teacups I want on my spread from this tissue paper, and I'm going to glue it on with just some regular school glue. I'm going to spread it around. Instead of using Mod Podge, I just opted for school glue. It's very similar in texture when you spread it out as Mod Podge. So after I get it all spread out, I'm going to lay down the tissue paper and spread it out just a little bit, delicately, carefully, so I don't rip it. Then I'm going to cut out where the binding is on the page and just press down on each side of it so that it gets stuck into the glue. Then I'm going to trim up the edges because you can see it's still a little bit larger than the page. So I'm going to trim off the excess and make it the same size as the page so that I just have the glued on part left. And then I'm going to trim, and didn't get quite trimmed well on the top there, so I'm fussing with it. But after this, I'm going to dry the glue a little bit so that I can work with the page without waiting for it to dry, because it would take all day. And then I have these die cuts that, like a teacup and some cakes. And the teacup, I didn't like the print that was on the backside mixed with the print that was on the tissue paper. So I decided to use the backside of it and use some Distress oxide texture paste embossing paste, embossing paste to color the backside so it coordinated with the colors on the tissue paper. And I used speckled egg for that. And I wish I would have stamped beforehand, but you'll see later, before I put the speckled egg on, but you'll see later I do stamp on top of it with a permanent ink, so it should dry on there and be okay. But that's the one thing that's cool about these Distress Tim Holtz embossing powders is they're clear and you can stamp underneath them. Then I decided I didn't want this big round die cut, so I'm going to cut it, but I was cutting it wonky, so I'm like, let's lean into the wonkiness and do a textured cut with some scissors, some textured scissors. And then I wanted to stamp this background stamp of flourishes on the back with some amber fossil from Distress Ink, and it wasn't sticking, so I ended up just using the ink pad and not stamping perfectly stamped, just stamping imperfectly all over the place, a little bit of texture in the background. And because on my stamp pad there was apparently some blue in the background of the ink left over from the previously time I used it, it made the stamping a little bit yellow and green, which I thought looked kind of cool. As I glue down all the little pieces of ephemera in the center there, I decide I want to I'm sorry. My brain's not working very well today. I wanted to rub on these letters that say tea time just to emphasize what it is I'm doing the spread about today. And then I decided to stamp on my date because I think I'm done. But then I realized that the teacup seemed just a little too plain to me. So I decided to use that same stamp I textured in the background and put some texture on the teacup. And that is my spread for memories. It's tea time is a good memory for me. Hope you're having fun with Junk Journal January. See you later.